1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Blast off. All right. Slight vacuuming in the background. The war against chiggers. Oh my gosh. Oh my word. You know, some people. Some people can learn by reading, and some people can learn by listening to other people. But some people just have to go out and pee on the electric fence themselves. Same thing with chiggers. Anyway, kind of a comedy of errors, I don't know. Anyway, all right, last chapter in whatever this book is that we've been reading. Sorry, we interrupt this program. Just kidding. It's not Lights Out, and I just a few comments, and I'll read it in this last section here. I knew that it had some topics, some themes that validated or backed up, like I said before, Lights Out. One being cooperation with the county sheriff. I believe that's going to be very important. Very few county sheriffs are going to come down on the, government side. So some of them will, some of them already have, some of them will be doing that and will be removed from office, perhaps from, this plane of existence. But that's all going to work out as it plays out. But you can't make your decision ahead of time and say anything with a badge you should target. That's just, no. I'm sorry. The guy lives next door to you for all practical purposes. His family's next door, his wife, his kids. You don't go against law enforcement immediately off the bat, especially not county sheriff, which every patriot should understand. Anybody that considers himself to be any kind of patriot or American or whatever liberty-loving person, the sheriff is the highest level of elected official in the United States. His powers supersede the president's powers. So get that through your head and understand that, the sheriff is a very important, individual in the law enforcement system of this country. His authority outranks the FBI, the CIA, the NSA, the government, all enforcement branches of the federal government. So, all right, enough being said on that. And the wild dog issue, other things, we're similar. How are you going to produce food? So all of those are critical and important. I do like the fact that this one began on a farm-based situation where they already had some kind of experience at raising animals and food. So, all right. That being said, they had to end up with a NASA fairy tale. Oh well. I'll just read it as is. Try to not make any comments or gag or roll my eyes or anything else. So, but that's where we're finishing up. Epilogue, Part 2. Shaking her head with a grin, Carla said, "If you'd asked me back in those first couple of years after the impact if we'd ever make a manned space program a serious national goal again, I'd have thought you daft." She paused for a moment, then continued, "But when the astronomers spotted that 4-kilometer asteroid in 2007 with a small but real chance of impacting Earth in 2032, and an increasing chance every 3 years afterwards, it was like the entire nation found its cause all at once. Even a 1 in 20 chance of another asteroid impact was more than most were willing to risk again. I was convinced that the United States was actually moving towards a breakup, but almost overnight everything changed. I still think we could have done it without the Russian Republic, but if we hadn't partnered with them, they may have gone with the Europeans. Too old to change the way I think about the Russians, I suppose. After their losses in Siberia, they need space resources as badly as we do." "Sure hope we're not celebrating prematurely," Brittany said. "Isn't the UN General Assembly voting on the space resource issue today? I was reading in the paper yesterday that the Pan-Arab Republic has the votes to force the issue about endangering the Earth by bringing asteroids into orbit. They're also yelling about the proprietary use of common resources by the space-faring nations. What if they do force a vote against the mission? John scowled. Won't amount to diddly squat, Brit. The U.S., Russia, European Union, and the Chinese, with Japanese help, are all working on similar asteroid mining programs. That's all the power on the UN Security Council. All the veto power, anyways. That rotten son of a bitch Saladin may be the darling of the General Assembly, but he's dog meat in the Security Council. He's just doing whatever he can to forestall the inevitable. In spite of whatever he can do, we're going to render him, his oil, and his African resources obsolete in the next 10 years, and he knows it. From the spectroscopic analysis of 2007 alone, we'll take more iron out of that rock than we've mined in all of North America in the last 5 years. When the Columbia and the Enterprise come online to help out the Prometheus fetching asteroids back to Earth for us, we'll have more mineral resources than we've ever had before, and the know-how to use them. Besides, Saladin had best look to his own backyard. The Indonesians and the Iranians are not happy with him just now. Enough with the politics, Lisa interrupted. Anne, I never heard from you about Mel's secondary rating. Did she make it or not? Anne smiled the smile of a proud parent. Yes, she did. She's tertiary reserve pilot for Prometheus. Would have made secondary if she'd had more flight time, but she's happy being the assistant life systems engineer. She said the crew selection people all but told her that if she did well on this mission and got some more stick time in, she'd be a shoo-in for chief life systems and secondary pilot on the Enterprise when she's launched. How proud you must be, Luke said with a grin. Hell yes, we're proud, John cut Anne off. They all came out fine, and I'm so tickled with the way my kids, our kids, he said, looking at Anne and Carla. It turned out that I'll probably have to spend a century in purgatory getting my ego under control. Mel made it onto the Prometheus. Brittany's gone and become an ARNP and married Stevie. Still thinks she ought to go on to an MD, but she won't do it. Stevie's pretty much taken over managing the farm, and it's doing fine. I'm more a farmer emeritus now. Cindy's looking sure to make tenure at Cornell, and Neil just promoted to lieutenant on the 5th Fleet. The world is our oyster, and they're going to eat it for sure. Damn right I'm proud. Not bad for a redneck farm family, not bad at all. Whatever else he was going to say was lost when the public address system came on and announced the launch would be taking place in 10 minutes. More people began to arrive. Most John did not recognize, but some he did from television. The governor, both Florida senators, several congressmen, senators, and congressmen from other states. He noted with interest 2 of his favorite science fiction authors and determined to meet them after the launch. The vice president and other assorted dignitaries from around the world were also there, but they had their own viewing room. That was okay by John. He did not consider them in his social class anyway. The president himself was in Europe for another round of negotiations between the EU, China, Russia, Japan, and the U.S. over allocation of asteroid resources. Everyone wanted the easy-to-reach rocks to a system of allocation was to be worked out. Everyone wanted the easy-to-reach rocks, so a system of allocation was to be worked out. Finally, the moment arrived and the voice of mission control came over the speakers, announcing the status of the various necessary systems that would have to function for a successful launch. When at last they had all declared themselves in readiness, the voice said, "The Cape is go." A second voice then cut in with the countdown in progress, T-10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. A brilliant green light began to leak from beneath the launch gantry, and the window through which they were watching automatically dimmed itself, rendering the bright morning sunshine outside into twilight. 3, 2, 1. We have first motion. We have liftoff. And the ground-to-orbit shuttle carrying the crew of the Prometheus out of the atmosphere suddenly leaped for the sky from its gantry atop a brilliant emerald green column of light. The viewing window dimmed itself until everything outside was darkness but the launching laser and its burden rushing skyward. Everyone in the room had come to their feet as the craft left the ground, and John found himself shouting, "Go, baby, go," as tears unabashedly streamed down his face. All too soon, the shuttle was lost to sight, and the laser flicked out some time later, leaving a flat black window that gradually cleared itself to allow the natural sun to shine in once more. John pulled out a red bandana and wiped his face. He then bent and kissed his wife. The room was still silent when he said to her, "Well, she's off now. She'll make it or not on her own merits, but I think we Gave her a damn fine set of tools to work with, if I do say so myself. We've given them all a damn fine set of tools to work with. Nothing left for us now but to rest on our laurels. He then added, speaking as if to no one in particular, and wait for a few grandchildren to put in an appearance. Looking towards the back of the room where the PR flax had gathered, he took his wife by the hand and said, "Now, them NASA folks promised us a video of the launch. Let's go see about it." All right. There you are. 10 minutes. I said enough. I'm not going to say any more. All right. This is Jerry Diamond with How to Get Out of Babylon and the last reading of We Interrupt This Program. So I'll make some comments maybe some other time. Appreciate everyone bearing with me through this. It wasn't quite as exciting or sequential or organized as Lights Out, but hey, it was okay. All right. We'll see what I do on the next one. I don't know if there will be a next one. A few people have made comments and suggestions, and I have a few ideas. Any more ideas, let me know. And another thing I'm going to return back to is the subject of Pentecost. So, not done with that yet. It's a season, a time, an era, and a part of the coming kingdom. And Pentecost was the giving of the law, and that's one thing we need to address. So, all right. Hallelujah. Good night. Sleep tight. And in Jersey's case, don't let the chiggers bite. Good night. Poor little girl. I don't know. Some people's kids. Good night.